I once heard someone say that a mother's love is invisible, like scaffolding holding up a house no one bothers to look at until it collapses. That's what I was. The scaffolding. Until the week before my son's wedding, when I discovered just how invisible they wanted me to be. It wasn't whispered gossip, not some careless remark. No, truth doesn't always creep in through cracks. Sometimes it arrives in bold letters on a glowing screen. I wasn't meant to see it. An email. Drafted by her mother, the bride's mother. She can watch the kids. Keep her out of sight. Less embarrassing for everyone. She. That was me. The mother of the groom, the widow who raised him when his father's headstone was still wet with rain, the woman who stitched until her fingers bled, sold her wedding bangles, worked night shifts just so he could graduate without owing a single cent, and their plan? To shove me into a corner like an inconvenient stain on their perfect pictures. Surrounded by screaming toddlers, while they smiled for cameras I apparently wasn't good enough to stand in front of. I didn't see RY.no. I haven't wasted tears since the days when overdue bills piled higher than groceries. Tears never fed a child. Tears never kept the lights on. This betrayal didn't deserve my sorrow. It deserved something colder. Sharper. I remember the first time I met her. The woman my son swore was his forever. Her hair fell in perfect, deliberate waves, her handshake rehearsed, her smile all surface. I tried, God, I tried. I opened my home, offered her warmth, respect. In return, I got silence. Thin, polite smiles. Subtle little nudges steering my son farther and farther from me at dinners. I lied to myself. Told myself it was nerves, or immaturity, or anything but what it was. Because mothers do that, we tell ourselves stories if it means our children are happy, but lies rot in the dark, and by the time that email burned into my eyes, the rot had spread too far to ignore. It wasn't just one betrayal. It was a series of cuts. The wedding planner stopped copying me on calls. My son stopped asking my opinion on colors, music, menus. One afternoon, she muttered that I wasn't the right image for their wedding photos, and then came the email. That was the nail in the coffin. I could have confronted him. Screamed. Demanded respect. Begged for a place at the table. But begging is for the powerless. And I still had power. Just not the kind they'd ever notice. See, everyone thought her parents were paying for this wedding. That was the story they paraded around. But the truth? My late husband left a policy. I cashed it in. Quietly. Half the deposits for the venue, the band, the caterer, my money. My signature on the contracts. My name on every receipt. They never noticed. Because people rarely notice the ones they underestimate, the night before the wedding, I hung my dress in the closet. Not the pale, shapeless thing they picked for me, something safe and forgettable. No. I chose the emerald silk my husband once said made my eyes look like sharpened glass. I hung it there, folded carefully, and left my suitcase empty. Because I wasn't going. Morning came. I brewed coffee. My kitchen silent, while miles away their chaos unfolded. At noon, my phone lit up with my son's name. Mom, where are you? They're lining us up. The kids are crying. Where are you? I let the silence stretch, then laughed. Low, steady. The kind of laugh that tastes of steel. Don't wait for me, I said. And don't wait for the buffet. Then I hung up because at 9 that morning, I'd already called the caterer. Cancelled. Under my contract. Same with the band. The venue. Every vendor refunded the payments straight back into my account. They all knew me as the client. Without me, there was no feast, no music, no bar. Just a glittering hall full of overdressed guests and wilting flowers while her mother scrambled to hide the truth. I imagine the whispers started slow, like a ripple. Then spread, faster and faster. Watches checked, stomachs grumbling. Until it reached my son's face, the realization that his mother wasn't in the corner with the children, his mother wasn't anywhere. Do you want to know if it hurt me? Of course it did. Every mother dreams of that first dance, that proud smile, that photo. But pain has flavors. And I've been force-fed bitterness all my life. This wasn't bitterness. This was liberation. That day, I stopped being their servant, their babysitter, their shadow. I became the storm they never saw coming. Later that night, he called again. This time no anger. Just silence. A broken silence that begged for answers. I almost picked up. Almost explained. Almost said what I'd whispered to myself as I transferred the refunded money into an account with my name alone, but I didn't, because lessons echo louder when they're met with silence. Now, when people ask if I attended my son's wedding, I smile. No, I say. But I saved the date. And on my calendar, that day isn't marked as a wedding. It's marked as the day I stopped being overlooked, the day they finally saw that the quiet woman in the corner could tear down the whole stage.